Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Ankita Nagraj. I head the customer success team at SellerApp. Today being the first day of the business week, we decided today would be a good day to kickstart our new weekly special called SellerSpeak. We are joined by Amy Wees. She's a mom. She owns a retail called Clean Litter Club, which focuses on home and pets. And she also has a consulting job where she helps other Amazon and e-commerce sellers to maximize their sales. So hi Amy, I'm really excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us. And can you tell us how did you start out and what brought you to where you are today?
Well, I started out selling as a hobby on Amazon, eBay, that kind of stuff. While I was in college and while I was in the military, I just would flip textbooks and things laying around my house and things like that. And then, later on in life, I decided I always carried around a notebook of things that I wanted to make one day. And I finally had an excuse to make one of them. So I invented a new way to clean the cat litter box of all things. And in that journey, I launched my company and decided then, of course, Amazon and e-commerce is a great way to be able to go immediately to market. So that's how I got started.
That's great. And I know your mom, you have a few brands and then you also have a consulting job. How do you juggle all of them?
With help. So my husband is wonderful. He left his job as, he's retired from the Air Force and he left his job as a teacher to stay home and basically manage our e-commerce sales and inventory. So he does the Amazon stuff full time, but he also takes care of our home and our children. And so that way when I also still have a day job. So when I get home from my day job and I want to work on the business and the growth of the business, I'm really free to do that because I have a wonderful supportive family.
That's great. That's really wonderful. And can you tell us more about your product, your brand, and how has your experience been with Amazon FBA?
Yeah, so my products are, I basically set up a whole line of products for the home and the pet area, right? So things to help you clean up after your pets, but also products that can be used in any home that also have pets. I wanted to create modern looking products, not just products for pets with paw prints on them, but products that you could use throughout your house because to us, our pets are family. So we have a line of floor mats that are wonderful and you can use them anywhere in your home. They're completely waterproof, but also great for your pets. And then we also have, pet feeding type things, pet snack bowls, things like that. And then we sell a line of toys as well. We also sell some other brands that carry pet things that are in line with our brand. And then in a few weeks here, we are launching a really cool new floor runner mat that's wonderful for people to use all throughout their home. And we're hoping to maybe get that into the commercial side as well because it's great for businesses. And then right after that, we'll be launching our premier product, which is Sifties, which is the product that I invented to clean the cat litter box. So obviously I can't wait for that because I know it's going to make a big difference in a lot of people's lives. And then I have some other brands as well, and I'm working on some new products right now. They're in development, so I'm excited to launch new brands for those because they're not exactly in line with the pet brand, but I'm excited to keep that going and share my journey with other sellers.
Absolutely, and I've seen your product and it's great. And I know that you're extremely excited about the Sifties product that you're going to launch, and really, I know you'll kill it. So how many products do you have in total on Amazon?
I think I have just 30 SKUs right now.
Okay. And what are the challenges that you faced when you started your e-commerce business?
Oh geez, what didn't I face, right? So we went to some training from Damon John, one of the sharks. He wasn't there, but his team was there, and they went over this training, and that's where they discussed Amazon FBA. Because before this, I was always doing merchant fulfilled and selling on my own website and eBay and stuff like that. So that's where we kind of learned about the FBA journey, and we learned about retail arbitrage and some of that stuff. And so we kind of tried our hand when we first got started off, before we launched our first private label products. But we started with some retail arbitrage, and oh my gosh, so you talk about challenges. You buy the wrong things. You buy something, you don't understand the rank structure in the category, and you buy something either that you can't sell. Maybe you're not maybe you're gated in it. You buy something that is, you put it under the wrong listing. Like there's so much to learn, as far as that goes. But retail arbitrage is a great way to learn it, because you're going out there, you're finding something, you're scanning entire aisles, you're figuring out, what sells. And luckily we had some friends, some close friends that were already in the retail arbitrage business. And so they taught us a lot about that. But ultimately retail arbitrage was not for us. We started this to be in business, but it was a great way just to get our feet wet and kind of learn the FBA process, how to pack up shipments, how to send things in, how to get ungated, how to, deal with Seller Central, which is like the hardest challenge for all of us, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, so those were like the main challenges, and just kind of learning. And then when we got into wholesale, learning how to deal with different vendors and understand how to bundle things, or how to set things in sets, and the different packing materials, and all of that ultimately taught me things that helped me in my private label journey, right? And that was really, those were the main challenges, is just learning how to deal with Seller Central, how to take a product and really get it where it needs to be as far as selling.
So it's interesting that you brought up retail arbitrage. So do you say that maybe new sellers should start with retail arbitrage as opposed to launching their own private label product?
Well, I think that ultimately, I think retail arbitrage is a great place to start just learning the business, because I've worked with a lot of sellers who launched their first private label product, and you take a course. I've taken a few of them, but you take the course and it really doesn't teach you all of these little things, these nuances that you have to deal with Amazon. And so often that's a bulk of my consulting business, is Amazon sellers that come in and say, I have this product, but I don't know how to create a listing for it, and I don't know how to get it on Amazon, and I don't know, I'm gated, or I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to get it from my supplier onto the Amazon virtual shelf and get it to customer, in front of customers' eyes. How do I launch? How do I do all these things? So it really takes the fear out of it if you can literally go right down the street to Walmart, and flip a product. And bundle something interesting, buy a UPC, kind of learn how to do it. So I would recommend that that if, no matter what you're selling, whether you're just selling a 10-pack of something you bought at Walmart, or whether you're buying something wholesale or anything like that, that you just kind of come up with small things to learn the process before you go order 1,000 units from a manufacturer.
I absolutely agree with you. And I also talk to a lot of Amazon sellers every day, and I hear them come up with these basic questions where they're struggling a lot, and then also sometimes Seller Central doesn't make it that easy, to get answers. So I completely understand your approach. And I really appreciate how you are helping other Amazon sellers as well. So your consulting business, does it also deal with other channels apart from Amazon?
With other what? Sorry?
Other e-commerce channels apart from Amazon, do you?
Yeah. So what we try to do, I'm a business major myself, so I don't really approach Amazon itself as a business. I see Amazon as a very powerful sales channel for a business. So what I try to encourage sellers to do when I'm consulting them is start with that business foundation.
Yeah.
Understand your customer, know your niche, and deliver to them. And you know, instead of the approach that you see on all of the FBA, you know, businesses out there, you know, all the YouTube videos and stuff like that, where it's like, find a product and launch it, and you know, and and just I think that you know, so what we try to help people do is, okay, come up with a business plan, understand your niche, deliver to your customers exactly what they want, and you will be successful from the beginning. There's no software can help, but and especially to manage that business. But if you know your customer, you're going to be unstoppable from the beginning. And you're not going to be out there competing, you know, with all these other. So I do help with website, with graphic design, with Facebook and social media marketing, Pinterest, all that kind of stuff. Just really, I help them understand their business and organize it so that they can move forward in a methodical way and launch a full line of products, email lists, everything, you know, everything that goes into keeping an e-commerce business successful. And if you lose your Amazon sales channel tomorrow, you know, which is very possible with all the crazy shenanigans going on, how are you going to continue? If you know your customer and you're already selling on your website, you haven't lost. You can recover from that. And I think that that's a good thing to set people up with.
Absolutely. And that brings us to what is your experience with SellerApp, since you've been using it for quite a few weeks now?
Well, we love it. It's really, we used to use Sellix, and we've moved over to SellerApp. What is really great about SellerApp, first of all, is what you provide, right? Your consulting, all of that just really helps us out, because even if we're more experienced sellers, which, you know, yes, I've been selling on Amazon for 10 years, but only FBA for a little over a year. So, you know, even though I understand business, it's helpful to have somebody that can look again at my PPC campaigns, that can, you know, check out my inventory and go, hey, this is where you can improve. And SellerApp does a great job of, you know, they break everything out. And my husband loves the numbers, the way that the numbers are broken out for him, because he can easily see how much revenue he has from a product, his best performers, his worst performers. He can easily improve upon keywords. He can see opportunities all in the same dashboard. And then what's great about it is, you know, the consulting that comes along with your membership. And that's why I recommend it to a lot of sellers that say, you know, they're paying me a higher amount than, you know, they would pay if they would just sign up for SellerApp and get that help with their PPC that they need. You know, then they're not paying me a consulting fee. You know, I'm happy to help them with the bigger side of their business, but I definitely recommend, if they just need help maximizing their PPC or understanding what their inventory looks like, that SellerApp is a great way to do that, because it's a great, you know, you pay your membership, but then as part of that, you have these consulting sessions every month that you can use. And I think that's really your most powerful aspect of SellerApp. And then, you know, the other things that we really love, especially, I'm a total listing nerd. I'm a copywriter, so I love to look at listings and like pick them apart and find the keywords that are, you know, missing, and say, oh, this title is wrong and the canonical URL is, and I love to do that.
Yeah.
But my husband is not a listing nerd, you know, so he loves to be able to look at our listings, which, you know, that you need to optimize your listings on a regular basis. This is not something you do once.
Yeah,
you need to
absolutely.
Do
yes. Yeah.
You know, and keep that, you know, search engine optimization going. So
Exactly.
SellerApp does that for you. You can pull up your product. It tells you exactly where you're missing keywords. It shows you keyword opportunities. It tells you, oh, that's in your title, but not in your bullets. You know, it shows you exactly where you can improve, and it's just right there in front of you. So my husband loves that, because, you know, he's not a listing nerd like me, and he can just very quickly, you know, I always tell him, I say, look at our listings from a customer standpoint every single day. And instead of having to manually bring each one up in Amazon and look at it, now he can go into SellerApp and go, oh, I'm missing this keyword. Let me go in there and fix that. And so that for us is like one of the coolest features.
That's great. That's really, I'm very glad to hear that. And that brings us to the next question, which is, can you tell me what are your favorite features from SellerApp?
Well, I think that's it, right? The tracked products. The fact that you can go right through, you can choose a product and you can go right through and say, okay, this is what my revenue looks like. These are my keyword opportunities. This is how I can optimize my listing better, you know, and you can even track your competitors, which is pretty cool.
That's great. That's great. Okay, and so one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was that a lot of new sellers are struggling to find out what is the best marketing strategy, right? So since you have a lot of experience, what do you suggest them to start with?
Honestly, haven't had to do a lot of external traffic driving because most of my products are based on customer needs, right? Things that I know that customers want. So I don't have a lot of competition. I don't use software to find products. I study my customer. So, you know, when you do have a lot of competition, you obviously have to drive external traffic. So I haven't run into that problem. You know, so I do teach a little bit about how to do some different types of Facebook ads and Pinterest and drive some external traffic, but I don't need, luckily, to use those strategies myself. But what I've found is my best strategy is honestly just optimizing your listings, optimizing your PPC, and making sure that your photos look great, and then, you know, continually optimizing those things. And then from there, just making sure that you're keeping those things up. And really, as long as you can get your customers' eyes on your listing, that's really, you know, and your listing looks great and your product is discoverable and desirable, that's all you need to do. So really, marketing strategy for me is just PPC and making sure that I have a customer gets there, that it's leading to a conversion every time.
I completely agree with you. And for our last question, what advice do you give our Amazon sellers?
Well, you know, there's so much information out there. It's like information overload, and a lot of people get really overwhelmed because they're like, oh, what should I do? You know, there's all this software out there and there's so many products and I don't know which product to launch and what to do. So my best advice for any seller is that, you know, don't just think of yourself as an Amazon seller. Think about your business. Think about, you know, build that foundation for your business. Come up with a plan. You know, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So come up with your business plan, study your customer, and deliver what your customer needs. Don't, you know, worry about the best product out there. Worry about what does your customer need and deliver it to them. So come up with your plan, you know, then decide what niche you're fulfilling, study that customer, deliver that product to them, and you're not going to have any problems. You know, then after that, it's just about managing your business and continuing to deliver great things to your customer. And you're going to create raving fans, and they're going to love your products, and they're going to keep coming back to you, whether you're on Amazon or your website or wherever. They're going to keep coming back to you for more. So that's what I recommend is, you know, stay away from all of the you know, the gurus are good, but, you know, remember that ultimately this is business. And the businesses that take the time to plan and to deliver to their customers are going to win every time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think it's a great advice because, as you said, like people do get overwhelmed by tons of information that's out there, and then they most of the times don't know what to take, what not to take, and then they just follow somebody else, and then they end up with something that's not selling, which is not great. So and I also really like the fact how you you know, highlighted the fact that they should look at it as a business as opposed to just Amazon, just using Amazon as a platform where they can just sell something and then they can make some quick bucks, you know. Instead, they should be focusing on what the customers need and how they're going to deliver value. So I think it's a pretty great advice, and thank you so much, Amy, for joining us today, and for all of you guys who joined us today during this webinar, thank you so much. Stay tuned, we'll be coming up with another interview with another great e-commerce seller next Monday, and thank you and good night.